All right. Well, thank you all for joining us again. I'm here with Diane and Sue from Rhythm of the Rein Therapeutic Riding and Driving Program in, I believe, Marshfield, Vermont.
Yep.
And, hi, Diane. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing quite well. Thank you. Thanks for joining us this evening. Oh, there's Sue.
And Shadow.
And Shadow.
So I also have a friend with me. Come up here a minute, Ellie, and then you can go back to eating. She's kind of having her supper, but I have Ellie Mae with me.
There she is.
There she goes. Okay, you can go back and eat for a few minutes. So, well, I want to say welcome from Rhythm of the Rein, and we're a therapeutic riding and driving program, and we are hosted at Water Tower Farm in Marshfield, Vermont. Thanks for joining us tonight, and I'm hoping that some of our riders and volunteers are able to join in, and some of our donors as well, and hopefully a whole new group of people that want to learn more about what therapeutic riding is and what it can do. So yes, I'm Diane. I'm the founder of this program, and we've been providing services now for 20 years to Central Vermont and the Northeast Kingdom. Rhythm of the Rein is a 501c3, and we provide therapeutic riding, physical therapy, and speech therapy, hippotherapy services. And well, I should say service. Hippotherapy is actually just an intervention, and I'm just going to do a little education here, because people get very confused and they think that hippotherapy is a therapy itself. It is not. It is when we're using the horse to provide a therapy treatment. The horse is, for lack of better words, a piece of equipment. They are our tool. They are the intervention that we are using to work on our physical therapy goals, our occupational therapy goals, or our speech therapy goals. So that is what hippotherapy is. It's not a unique therapy in and of itself.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we also have the state's only adaptive carriage driving program, and that is managed by Beth Belote, who's our driving instructor. Rhythm of Rein is is called PATH, Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship. That's an international organization that accredits and certifies therapeutic riding programs. We're premier accredited. So for anybody with medical background, that's kind of like getting the JACA Good Hospital Seal of Approval. It shows that you're meeting a certain level of standards of proficiency and safety and excellence in providing services, not just somebody hanging out a shingle and saying, I have a horse, let's get some therapeutic riding going. So there's a lot of work and education and dedication that goes into getting that premier accredited status. So we're very proud of that one. So I'm a physical therapist. Our other instructor, Libby Hale, is a physical therapy assistant. We do the physical therapy sessions that come to us. We also have Stephanie O'Leary, who is a volunteer right now, who is an instructor in training, and she is hoping to get her certification in the next few months, if possible. Everything is kind of delayed right now. But Libby and I are both certified therapeutic riding instructors as well. So we kind of have two hats. We can do regular therapeutic riding lessons as well as the hippotherapy ones ourselves. And then one of our board interns, Sue Martin, who's going to talk a little bit later, is finishing her degree in mental health and is hoping to be a part of our expansion into mental health services, which is another component where equine assisted therapies are very, very helpful. So this program has been my passion since 1997, when I was working with a pediatric population, and my supervisor convinced me that I should use my horses to work with some of our kiddos. So once I saw not only the physical benefits that these guys were getting, in addition to the psychological and the emotional benefits they were getting, it just convinced me that I needed to kind of combine my two loves, the therapy and the horses. And in 2007, the nonprofit Rhythm of the Rein was incorporated. And since then, we've had dozens of clients and families and volunteers have all shared in this passion. And I know Sue will share a little bit of her experience a little bit later. One of the things I wanted to mention about why, sometimes it's very hard to say why this works so well. What is it about horses that is so special? they're really unique beings. It's so much more than just a relationship with a dog or a cat. It's more like developing a relationship on an equal being to being relationship. They're more equals to us. They are very connected to our emotions. They know what we're feeling sometimes a lot better than we know what we're feeling, because they're wired for survival to know what the intent is of that other being that's coming up to them.
Sure.
They also are unique that they can physically replicate the movement of humans. So that's why their motion is so beneficial to OTs, PTs, and speech therapists, because of their movement. That's what gives us the results that we're looking for, that we're finding we can't get in clinical settings sometimes. They're also fantastic teachers of mindfulness, respect, honesty, and responsibility in a relationship. So they just teach so much to so many people. One population of clients that they really excel in helping are our military veterans. They're uniquely wired mentally and emotionally to have a common perspective on the world with our veterans. A horse herd works and depends on each other, very much like a military unit does. Everybody has their role, everybody has their job, they do their jobs, everybody is safe because everybody does their jobs. They also they have to be hypervigilant. A wild horse has got to be hypervigilant in order to survive, or they're going to get mountain lion coming down on top of them. So again, a lot of military coming back from overseas, they have PTSD, they're still hypervigilant, they can't turn it off. That's one of the nice things about the horses is that they understand that they can both experience that hypervigilance, but the horses know how to turn it off when they don't need it. So that, I think, is a really strong teaching tool for a lot of our veterans. So what I'd like to do right now is just have Sue talk a little bit about her experiences, her insights.
So hi, I'm Sue.
Hi, Sue.
Hi, Sue. I'm a senior. Hi, I'm a senior at Northern Vermont. I'll be graduating in May with a bachelor's in mental health. I got involved in this program because NVU offered an equine therapy program, and I spent 4 days, what I thought was on something that would be teaching me more about the program, and it actually taught me about myself. Sucked me right in. I had never worked with a horse before, never met a horse, but that horse that I spent those 4 days with taught me more about myself than anything I've ever learned in my life. So the day after my class was over, I called Diane and I said, this is what I want to do. What you got? And she said, well, we always need volunteers. So I started right off, and I found that as soon as my car turns off the main road into the gate here, the noise stops. It becomes about others. It becomes about the horses. It becomes about finding that relationship with myself to help take care of others, mainly the horses. I'm here to make sure the horses are happy and healthy. When I'm here to make sure that our riders are having the best experience that they can have while they're here. There's definitely a lot to continually learn. I'll just share my little story. I haven't seen Shadow in 3 weeks, so excuse me if I keep staring at him, but he's my therapy buddy. Thank you, Peggy Ferris, if you're watching. Shadow is Peggy's horse. And I walked in his stall and he just remained calm. And he put his head on my shoulder and he was like, well, hello, where have you been? So with everything that we're going through in this world, there's this guy or Ellie, and they read you. You can't hide anything from these horses. They read you. And that's why they work so well with autism and post-traumatic stress and ADHD and cerebral palsy and brain trauma. We work with all of them, and the horses, they just know. They immediately know how to treat that person. If they're being treated well, they know how to treat that person, and they know how to adjust and take care of that person. It's amazing. So yeah, that's my story.
Well, thank you.
Okay. So I didn't want to get into necessarily a whole lot of details and technical stuff. It was really more just an introduction to who we are and what we do. And hopefully once this pandemic is over, we would love to invite people to come up and visit and see it and experience it for themselves. You know, this massive shutdown because of the COVID-19, it's been a blessing and a curse in a couple of ways. It's obviously a curse because we can't serve our clients. People are not coming. When we don't have sessions, we don't have revenue coming in. We can't do our fundraiser events. So the money that we depend on to support the care of the horses isn't coming in, and their care has to continue. So that's the curse part. But the blessing part is it has given us so much time that we would have not had otherwise to find new ways of reaching out to people, you know, and connecting with more folks and sharing our stories. So there's a silver lining in every cloud, you know, and I'm so grateful, number one, that I listened to VPR, that I was able to connect with Chris here, and that we were able to get this video chat going on. So that was definitely one of our blessings. So I have a lot of stories that I could share. I'll share one, and if there's time for another, I can share another. But this one, Sue was talking about our traumatic brain injured clients. We work with a traumatic brain injury services, support services program, and they send clients every summer. They usually go from like April to November. They'll have clients come out. So I have my intake forms that they have to fill out before they come. And this gentleman came, he was probably around 59 or 60. And his wife had filled out the intake form. And one of the questions we ask are, what are your goals for this program? What are you hoping to accomplish? And she had 3 words on it. And it was, see a smile. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it just, when you're a physical therapist, when you think of goals, you think of improvement, you think of improved function, more mobility, you know, getting rid of that walker. And it just, you know, it brought me up and it brought me back to, wow, a smile. That is a really, really important goal, you know, and especially this time that we're going through right now, I think probably even more important than ever before. And I tell you, when he would come and ride, he wouldn't just smile. He would just laugh, laugh, laugh. And with what vocabulary he had, he would just making jokes. You know, he couldn't complete a sentence anymore, but he could laugh and he could joke. So I think we accomplished their goal. So, and okay, got to share one more, just quick. Another, this is a younger boy. He was in his 20s or so. I mentioned earlier before we have the sensory trail that we can go out in the summer, and it's just a nice little short trail through the woods, beautiful trees overhead, leaves, all, you know, just all sorts of nice walk in the wood kind of things to do. And we took him out there, and he spent the entire ride looking up like that. And when we came back, you know, this is somebody who had profound disabilities, totally nonverbal. I'd never seen that kind of facial reaction to him before. And I asked his mom about that, and she said, well, he's never been in the woods before. And it's like, oh my gosh, you know, for someone who lives in Vermont to have never had the opportunity to be under a tree, wow. It's like, you know, that's the kind of things that we can bring, even if they're not big things to some of us. They're probably pretty immense things to a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Hello, I see someone new on the screen. Who's that?
Yeah, we're joined here with Phoebe Lowe and Trevor Barlow. They came in while you were just after you started chatting at the beginning.
Yeah, hi Diane. Thanks for sharing, and Sue. It's such a joy to see even a sliver of a horse in a, you know, like anything outside of my house seems like magical right now. So thanks for sharing your stories and your faces.
Come back, Ellie. Say hi again. We came up for show and tell, so we'll show her again.
Wow. Amazing.
And so you mentioned earlier when you were chatting, Diane, how many horses are you working with in total?
7 that we're working with. The program has 4 that they own, and then we have boarders that let them use their horses as well.
Gotcha.
So, again, we specifically look for different body types of horses, different types of movement. Some people need larger horses, some need small, some need slow, easy, rhythmic movement. Some would do better with something that's a little short and choppy. So, the therapist and the instructors decide what's the best combination. Sometimes one of the boarders' horses might be a better choice than one of the program's horses. Plus, when we get really busy, like there was 2 summers ago, we hit our goal for 1 month of doing 100 sessions a month, which for us was quite a bit. And that's a lot of work for the horses. They really need some downtime. So it's always good to have some horses that can take over if one's just burned out and they need a rest, or if something has happened and they're lame, because horses do get lame from time to time. So we kind of need to have some reserves to fill in if they can't work for whatever reason.
Yeah. And you do work with a carriage as well, right?
Yep. Yeah, we have one horse. Well, actually, we have 2 horses that are driving horses. So at the moment, we are using, it's called an easy entry cart. And so the instructor and the student are both in the cart at the same time. So the instructor has the final control. It's kind of like being a student driver and having the driving instructor in the passenger seat with his foot on the brake if he needs it. So there's a backup there for the student that's learning. We also have, which we have not yet had a call to use, but hopefully someday we will. Sarah St. Peter is our board chairman, and she is a quadriplegic, and she does competitive driving. She's done it for years and years and years. And she had loaned to us, it's a 4-wheeled cart. It has a hydraulic wheelchair lift on it, and it's got 4 seats. So you can actually have somebody in a wheelchair enter this cart and drive with that. So we do have that as an option if we found somebody who was wheelchair dependent that wanted to do driving. So the driving is a fantastic option for a couple of reasons. Number one, you might find somebody who, for whatever reason, cannot sit on a horse. It just is not a possibility for them. And then also, we might have somebody come who doesn't meet we have a weight criteria, because in order for our horse's health and safety, general rule of thumb is a horse cannot carry more than 20% of its body weight. So a 1,000-pound horse can carry 200 pounds of rider and tack. So if somebody came in and they were 350 pounds, if I did not have a horse large enough to safely have that person ride that horse, at least I've got options for them. I said, I don't have a horse suitable for you to ride, but we have the carriage driving program. We have ground activities that we can do. They could just do some in-hand work. So we have other options.
Yeah.
And to add to that, part of being able to drive a cart when you have a disability that doesn't allow you to drive a car, it gives them a freedom that they can't feel anywhere else. It makes them feel like they're all there, and it helps their self-esteem that they can drive a cart.
Right.
It builds people up so much. It's amazing to watch. And if you go to our Facebook page, Beth took some videos last month. Our driving horse Apollo was our featured horse, and we did put up a bunch of great videos of what Apollo does for the program.
Do you partner with any other adaptive sports groups in the state at all?
We have attempted to make those connections. I've talked with Vermont's Adaptive Ski and Sports. There's another program just over the border in New Hampshire, and their name is escaping me right now. And they sounded interested because they were looking for something to do with a riding program, but one of the criteria was that it was a certified program, and we are. But then again, haven't heard back from them. And again, here we are. Here's our blessing from the COVID-19 is we now have time that we can kind of reach out and rekindle some of those connections and maybe get some plans in place for when we can all come out back into the life again.
Yeah, because I would think it would be a great thing to partner with regards to the fact that they're doing winter programs, and then your programs could, pick up where they leave off from an engagement and therapeutic perspective.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing we have noticed as a trend too over the past 20 years is we don't see as many children as we used to. More and more of our clients are teenagers and young adults. So, teenagers have a lot of social issues that are kind of challenging them more than I remember having challenged when I was a teenager. But that, and then all of our children with disabilities are now adults with disabilities. And just thinking back to state demographics, they're talking about the youth population in general is declining. People are getting older, so it kind of goes hand in hand, I can see. So yeah, we definitely have shifted more from young people to adults. But and the veterans program is always, I've seen so much what the veterans program has done from the veterans that have participated here. And I know we could help so many more people if we could just get them to come and try it. And that has been the hardest part, is to find people who need the program to come and check it out and do it.
Yeah. You mentioned children. You work with kids as young as, I think you said 4 earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. And we try to partner very closely with the schools too, and ask them if they feel if they can share any of the students' IEP goals, things that they specifically are working on at school. If they can share that, we can tailor a lot of our program to help augment and supplement those goals. We had a boy here many, many years ago, and his school occupational therapist wanted to come out and watch and see what he was doing. So she came out and she just watched one of his sessions, and she goes, he's just met every single OT goal we have for him at school. He's doing it right here. So
yeah, it's incredible to me just how the breadth of therapy you can administer with the horses.
right. Yeah.
Well, great. I know we're approaching time. I don't know if anybody has any additional questions or if there's anything that you guys would like to cover. Trevor?
Sure, I know. My favorite question is just, is there in these times, adding some levity to it, are there any kind of funny or crazy stories you have about working with the horses, and just something to share along those lines?
Probably always. So, it depends how much I want to embarrass myself, how funny you want it to be. Actually, this one pops into my mind. This is a little bit of an older story, but it kind of goes back to what Sue was saying earlier about how they know us, they read us. I think I swear sometimes they probably really do understand human language. When we take riders from the arena and we bring them outside, there's big arena doors that we open. And one of our rules is you stop the horse. It's kind of like look both ways before you cross the street. You stop the horse. You don't just barrel out of the ring. They have to learn to stop when you ask them to stop and walk when you say it's okay to walk. So this particular horse, once she was outside, she was deciding, I really want to be done. I want to go back into the arena. And she kept pulling her rider to the ring, to the door. And so we struggled with it a little bit. We kind of got to a good place where everybody was fine. And I told the rider, I said, okay, you stop her at the door. And once you get in that ring, you have to make her work really, really hard. So she doesn't realize that going into the ring means she's all done and she gets to go back to her stall. Going in the ring means, oh, I have to do more work in here. So as soon as I said, you're going to work her really hard, the horse literally had been looking in the ring, turned and looked at me like, excuse me? And then went into the ring and got to do her hard work. But I swear, it was just the timing of her turn and look at me was like, what do you mean I'm going to work hard? And it wasn't Ellie. Not this girl. She's a sweetie.
And now she wants.
Now she wants attention. That's because the hay is all gone that we had down here for her.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Ellie's a star.
Oh, great. Awesome. Well, thank you, Diane, Sue. This is the
Thank
Rhythm of the Rein Therapeutic Riding and Driving program in Marshfield, doing some amazing things across a breadth of subjects. It's really incredible.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
awesome to see.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Great. Well, thanks, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks,
Have a great
Chris.
night.
Thanks, Trevor.